Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're re-attempting our approach in Timeless and we're playing an 80 card Yorion pile with probably some of the best cards in the format just overall in this deck list. I got this deck list from YungDingo, a really good friend of mine. He's a streamer. I'll link his Twitch in the bio below if you definitely want to check him out. He's on a stream-a-thon right now on Twitch. He's a really good, enjoyable streamer. I highly recommend you go watch him. But the main thing I will point out, these Orcish Bowmasters are not in the deck. I did not have enough Mythics to craft the 2 extra Okos. So if you can afford to do so, that is the actual deck list that I saw him playing last. And we're going to go ahead and hop into the game. We get some crazy things to happen with this list with the double ETBs and the Omnath and the Minskaboo and things like that. So definitely stick around for those. Outside of that, I hope you all enjoy the matches. And if you enjoy my content, please, for me, subscribe. I truly appreciate it. And let's just get out there and game. All right, we go first. We can Athling on 1. Field of Dead, not necessarily like the best, but I think this hand kind of is fine. We have a lot of lands in our deck, so hopefully we can just kind of draw well. I know that's not normally the way you should look at. Double Maul from our opponent. Get a better chance just off that alone. We'll see. Oh, Slimy Boy. He shocks in. We throw a halfling up. Then we find out our opponent's playing a way better deck than us. Maybe. Yes. We're going to Tomb, Ornithopter, Springleaf Drum. Seems a little bit weird. Okay, 2 more life. We'll do this. We'll get this Field of Dead in play. Actually, we're going to do this Fetch Land because Field of Dead's a little bit slow. We crack Fetch Land. We go grab Triome. It looks like Jeskai Triome works the best. And then we bolt the Ornithopter out of the way because that shuts off their Springleaf Drum, so they're not able to make an extra mana there. Sure. That's fine. And just like that, I'm going to play this Field of the Dead. And do I just play... I think I just play Minskaboo, to be honest with you. Make a little rodent. I would like to take the action, yes, sir. I would like to plus, and I would like to put it on my little boy with trample. Honestly, we'll just attack with this 4/4 trampler. They block to make a treasure token, which kind of accomplishes the same thing. Like Springleaf Drum was going to tap the creature to make a mana probably later anyway. But this way they get to scry and maybe find another mana source. They do not. I love this card. It is one of my favorite cards. Necropotent. Sure. How much life are you willing to take? Because I don't know if you know this or not. Minskaboo, sacrifice it. Any target? Sure. So they're at 9. I have 5 plus fling. So opponent, you died? Is this on instep? What? Obviously, we decline this. We already got a little hamster. Move to combat. Back. Win the game. All right. Yeah, this hand's really solid here. We can play Temple Garden on turn 1, get this Delighted Halfling in play, and then we can play in the Flooded Strand, Uro, put in the World Tree, and just kind of ramp up to the Omnath. Yeah, we definitely like this hand a lot. I don't really want to do the Fetch Land now because I would prefer to get a Triome that helps Leyline Binding be cast for 1 mana. We kind of have to wait a little bit for that right now. And because this World Tree always enters tapped, we kind of have to stagger that out regardless. We don't... If we have a mana accelerator or a mana dork, these are called dorks. If you're unaware, anything that's like a 1 mana tap for mana, we don't really have one of these right now in standard per se, and that's what I play a lot of on my channel. So we don't really have like an active dork. A lot of times it's mill. Good thing I'm playing 80 cards. We might have to actually wait on Uro this time around, because I think we want to get that off the battlefield. So I'm actually going to slow my roll down here. You just get this out of the way. And because the premise of what this deck is I'm playing, I will attack. We do have a lot of mana, so what's the card? Cautious Hideous Laughter, I believe, is the mill card that I can think of. Won't be as effective against this. It's a good sign for no Rune Crab, just a Fatal Push. That works out well for us. But here, we'll play Flooded Strand. We'll crack Flooded Strand. We just need to go get an Island Source. Damage isn't going to be the main premise, so we go grab a blue-red source because we obviously play Bolt in our deck. And then we throw this Uro up. Uro comes in, we'll gain our 3 life back. Get to put and land onto the battlefield, being a Wooded Foothills, which can then grab us like a red-white source maybe. But that still doesn't allow us to play our Leyline Binding. We just need to be careful that we're able to actually cast Omnath. We have a blue, we have a green, we have a white. We just need a red source, which this will probably be grabbing red-white, I would imagine. Maybe even just a Triome here. We don't have a whole lot going on. Which, yeah, Sky Triome probably works best. Or, oh. Yeah, I don't know. We get Toshist here. Yep. So we knew the card. We're going to fetch now because we do play sensitive Triomes. We want to make sure that it doesn't get exiled. We need green, white. I cannot grab this one. If I grab this one, I'm not able to cast Omnath. So we just have to be careful of that. The Zagoth Triome, is that the one I need here? Blue, green, and black. So blue, red, green, white. Yeah, it's the Zagoth Triome. That's what we're looking for. Just had to make sure. We get a lot of important spells, but I mean, regardless, it's always important spells because it only hits spells. So it's kind of like, yeah, of course it's that. But we could play this in game or life, but I think, well, I guess it doesn't matter, right? Yeah, so I guess we play Omnath. We'll draw a card. If it's a fetch land, we get to kind of do some cool stuff. It is not. It is a Elesh Norn, which shuts off their ETBs, so things like Rune Crab aren't actually going to work. I can just feel my slang kick in sometimes, and it actually hurts me mentally. I ain't gonna be able to do nothing. And I'm just like, ugh. I do feel bad for the mill player, though, considering that they've milled 12 cards in the exile. We're already 5 cards in our graveyard. We have this and 5 lands in play, and I'm at 54 cards. Seems tough. They have to play a fetch land to crack it to get Fatal Push to remove this Omnath. They normally... Mill in Modern doesn't normally play much else outside of Fatal Push. Founding a third path, maybe they'll do mode 1. They do. What is mode 1 going to do? Just your library hand. Oh, wow. That's going to be tough, I would assume. We do have a Leyline Binding, so we should roughly be fine. If we draw a fetch land, you're going to see Omnath do some crazy stuff. Maybe... I forgot that card exists. We will mill it, though. I mean, yeah. All these resolve. They're already on the stack. I could have got rid of it on upkeep, but upkeep, your untap already happens, so there's nothing you can do. That sucks. I would love to play this Elesh Norn. I just don't think I can. We can Uro. This shuts off taps. We lose whatever. Let us play Spelunking. Maybe we'll hit fetch land. No, we hit another Leyline Binding though. We don't have 2 white mana, but we're gonna play it now and get rid of this Mesmic Orb. Our player mills. Not too concerned about that. Milling 4 is not the worst. Please attack. Hit. The other thing for them that's kind of a problem is we do have Uro reoccurring from the graveyard a little bit. There's a land. I'm gonna see how many fetches we have. I don't care about this draw. We gain so much life on this. Now, you guys will get to see the really cool stuff. So, we play Elesh Norn. Elesh Norn enters. Shut off ETBs from our opponent. They can obviously recast something in their graveyard, which would be Demonic Tutor. If we play this, it'll trigger both of Omnath's modes, so we'll gain 4 life, and we'll make 4 mana. So in theory, we can just leyline binding the Shieldred and call it a good day. So I'm going to do that because leyline binding will now do 2 triggers. We'll get this and we'll get Founding the Third Pass, so they're in top deck mode. And I'll buy Yorion. Just an overwhelming quick way to kind of decide that this game may be over, maybe not be over. Our opponent takes a draw here. What do you have, opponent? Jace may owe me for 15 potentially. I have 43 cards still in my library, but they're sticking it around. I mill a ton. I'm at 28 cards. It's very possible that I do lose here. Unlikely, however, just due to the nature of what my current board state is. Set them down to 3. We'll just do Uro, because why not? I don't have to do this. Let's just pass turn. I don't need to make any crazy play right now. They have so much they have to do to mill us. Like to get 27 cards gone. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many cards. Jace isn't online. They don't really quite have the thing. Rune Crab on landfall trigger. That doesn't matter either because it doesn't work. My turn. Target creature gains haste still on the turn. That doesn't really do a lot for me. I think so. Do I have an Atraxa still in my yard? No, it's in my graveyard. Natural order is only from library, right? Yeah. So, I mean, they have to double block, so it doesn't really matter. Really don't have a choice. And I think that's kind of the realization here. But we might go to time. Who knows? We'll come back when our opponent decides they're just not going to block or what. All right, well, they came back. They double target, which is like fine. Not really a whole lot to say. I just they're tapped, I guess. Trigger both these modes. Could have held it to deal 4 more damage. I just don't care. We're just going to pass again. I just realized that I could have played Yorion and give it haste. When they say good game, this is the problem sometimes with me. I just turn my brain off. I could have just played Yorion, flickered like nothing, gave it haste. It's so stupid. I don't know why I did that. Yep. Sure. I just honestly thought they were going to concede. I don't know. Bam, the space bar. Get in there. But hopefully, you know, sometimes I'm big dumb. The game was over. I just thought they were going to concede. Okay. My opponent goes first. I can get Jeskai land. But then I don't have green for my dorks. Are we just better off mulling this hand? I think we're better off mulling this hand. Yeah, this looks a lot cleaner. I like this hand a lot more. We have a swords early. We can play Uro. Is it Omnath or Boo that goes away? Honestly, milling down. I think Omnath right now goes away. Minskin Boo is really, really strong. Especially like in the terms of letting us draw a ton of cards off the little rodent. What is coming to play? Deathrite Shaman? Realistically, I think I'm just going to swords this immediately. They're down to 3 cards. I have Deathrite Shaman. The last thing I want is for them to put in a Necropotence on turn 2, which seems like the plan for a lot of the plays that happen as of late to me. I think Temple Garden's good. It also allows us to play our Mana Dorks if we want to next turn, if they don't really do anything. The only problem with Necropotence is once it's in play, Leyline Binding doesn't actually do anything, because they can activate it as many times as they want. Second lane, Shock, come in. Dark Ritual, Necropotence. Sneak attack. Oh boy. We should be able to shut this off, I think. I don't have the mana to activate it. I need blue, black, and green. Yep, Zagoff's trying. Or did I mess it? Oh, I didn't mean green. Darn it. I looked at my temple garden and went blue, black. Yeah, it's green. Like, that hurts. That hurts every fiber of my being. It needs to be red. Red's the color I wanted. It goes away at instep. I'm leyline binding this thing, man. Hopefully it works. Hopefully they don't have anything. Oh, bless up, dude. I punted that away so hard. If they just paid a red and they were like, "Here's my Atraxa," I would have cried. I probably would have vomited on the floor. Not even joking. It just, playing so loose right now, and I think a lot of it is overloading. Like, I'm overloading my brain on being able to I'm overloading my brain a little bit in terms of trying to make sure that I'm playing correctly or like doing the correct patterns and stuff, when realistically I shouldn't be. Take action. I'll make a little hamster. I'm going to buff it. We'll probably end up drawing like 4 cards next turn. Next attack. Bonk. Player fetch land. This could be a Necropotence from them, but they won't get a lot of activations on it. We'll potentially win the same way we did last time if this is Necropotence. But I would assume this is potentially other sneak attack plus activate. But if sneak attack do nothing, then they lose. Oh, Zaga. Yeah. Back here. Hey. Grab this. I'm gonna grab different lands at random. I'm gonna close my eyes. We decline here. Obviously, we have a big boy. We don't need to do much else.
Go big or actually go big. Just
Combat. Attack. Yeah. All right. Sick. What a -2 here. I hit it for 4 and I'm gonna attempt to draw a lot of cards.
attack, my wily friend. Attack!
Oh, these voice lines are something. Sure. Orcs Bowmaster makes sense. Yeah.
All you want? Okay.
We'll activate here. We eat another one of these lands. Say it's a green source. Of the day. Solve. Solve. That's all fine. I'm not too opposed to that. This. Oh, I messed up. I could have done Omnath. I forgot that, you know, I drew the Omnath, but it's fine. It's fine. I didn't punt. You punted. Not me. Nope. Not me, says I. I was so, like, locked in on playing Primeval Titan, but we definitely could have played Omnath and done some shenanigans. We actually could have killed him. Oopsie! My play is not tight at all. 1, 2, 3. I don't want to play. Let me out. I don't want to play anymore. Okay, so I'm going to explain it. For anybody who was physically hurting from watching what I just did, I'm incredibly sorry. So basically what I could have done when I made that mana, I could have played Omnath, right? And then, so I had what? This 4 right here? Yeah, so I had this 4. I play Omnath. I play fetch land. I gain the life, right? And then I crack the fetch land, which they would have drew a card. This would have got slightly bigger, whatever. Got something. Maybe they had an answer in hand. I have no idea. But this would then trigger. And then if they try to, maybe they have fatal play. I don't know. This enters, cracks. We go get land. We get to make more mana. And because we had a second land in our hand, we'd have been able to play Uro. Uro would trigger, draw a card, put another land into play, which would have been 3 land drops in 1 turn. And then Omnath's bottom ability is the 3rd time it resolves, 4 damage to each opponent. They were at 2. We could have just won right there. And then, you know, of course, after I talk about my punt, I play a Primeval Titan because, you know, that was my plan afterward. It wouldn't have worked because I wouldn't have enough mana to play Uro. And I already played the other land that I needed. So I was like, yeah, Titan's great. I grabbed Field of the Dead and Field of the Dead, which means I don't have 7 different land types. I only have 6 right now with different names. So, you know, I'm doing great, sweetheart. Thanks for asking. And name them all right away. Tank kind of sucks, to be honest. Tank kind of sucks, to be honest. They take 2 malls? I'm gonna keep. Alice can only go away. I mean, obviously, we're gonna start off. Am I getting Amelia comboed right now? What it feels like. I'm not pumped about it. Oh god. Help. Calling for help, please. I know what that generally means. That means I'm gonna activate this and you lost the game. Congratulations. Yeah. So we'll move to combat. We'll attack. No, we'll do a little monkey bill. I mean, I'm just gonna activate this now. Not really holding up anything. Our mana a little bit more diverse while I can. Got blue, green, black, and white now, and then the Sacred Foundry can make our red, but we'll probably natural order next turn. What are you getting? Ew, that makes sense. Huh? Yeah. Do it, King. I'm here for it. Play them all. Play every single one of them. Do them all. Do them all. I will get thugged on all day for this combo. I don't care. If you ever wonder why channel's banned, this is why. This is why channel is banned everywhere. Holy cow, and just one quick turn. Just a flat 53 I get set to in the negative. What a wild way to end that game. But dude, I could have drawn the Swords to Plowshare. My opponent goes first. I'm not happy about that. But we'll fetch Overgrown Tomb, put a Shaman in play. Then maybe use Shaman to use our swords. Here, crack. Overgrown Tomb. Overgrown Tomb. That's right, Shaman. Maybe we're losing it to a push. That makes sense. No? Like, we'll just push more important things. Necropotence. One ring. Sure. I forgot the one ring was even legal. Like, we're not activating it. We can't activate that. Yeah. So we'll do this. We'll do this. Get rid of this. Again. And then we'll play Uro. We'll play action land. A green, sure. Play Uro. This is big old coffers, I would think. I'm not sure if all the cards are legal for it, but definitely reminds me of coffers. This in, enter it tapped. I was thinking about Bloodstained Mire, but it just doesn't work out very well. If we draw an untapped source, it doesn't really work regardless. We could play an Elishnorn next turn. We can turn off ETBs, but they don't seem like an ETB style deck really. Oh, there's Uro or Swords. That's an Inquisition. Uro's gone. Land, fetch. Could play Omnath and just draw an extra card, but I like playing Elishnorn instead. Red, blue, green, white. Okay, so we can go get a basic. Exile my land. Doesn't really matter which one we get. Elishnorn. Stop ETBs for now. Even though I'm not entirely sure if they have ETBs. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, gain protection. I guess it stops that. It is something it does stop, but could have hard removal for Elish Norn. Maybe like a March. A lot of the Cabal decks will play like March of Wretched Sorrow. Just because they can pitch a lot of black cards and then they gain a ton of life that way. No exile there. That's an Elish Norn. They said, I mean, there's not really a whole lot to exile, right? Necropotence, sure. I guess. Guess we play Omnath. We draw 2. We draw 2 because of the Elish Norn. And then Omnath will trigger twice. Because of this fetch land. It's legendary, so obviously we're not really going to be doing much about it. Oh, I guess we had cards in our graveyard. It was just Yorion. Guess we activate this ability to ping them for 4, or no? Yeah, we'll just ping them for 4 as well. Guess we can go grab a Plains just because of the source of file share mana be available. And then we can use this to buy back Yorion, or buy Yorion. Then we can use this to play the Halfling. And then we can attack for... We can attack for 5 here. Making their Necropotence a little bit worse. Sure. Now in Necropotence, I say, are you even going to activate it? You're going to take 2 and then you're going to rely on your hand? That's his Shieldred. Remember when you Inquisitioned me and you didn't take the swords? Took the Uro instead? That was... Could have prevented that. I understand Uro's a good value card, but like, if your out's like Shieldred, what if we got rid of that? Alright. What you playing? Deathrite Shaman, it's what? Instant or sorcery, they lose 2 life? I mean, they have a couple of those in there. Sure. Combat? Move to combat. Please. We can hit them for 5, activate this, put them at 7, and they'll take 3 from the 1 ring. But, you know, I'm not going to tell them that. I think they know that's the problem. So, yeah. Just really quickly, if I can get into the match. This is on 3, so they'll take 3 damage on their upkeep. They could technically activate this in response to the trigger. And then maybe Wretched Sorrow something and gain a ton of life so they wouldn't die. But they will get attacked for 4, 5. So they get 5, down to 5. Activate this, ping them for 2 by taking probably their Dark Ritual out of their yard. And just go from there. But we're also going to play another Deathrite Shaman. And if our board gets too filled up, then we'll obviously look at bringing Uro back. Luris, we have Halfling, we have Boommaster. This could be like blue-black, so we have to kind of be careful, and then we want to have a Leyline Binding active at pretty much any time. Oh boy. Rack. Green and white. Breeding pool. A vicious land. Lamp. Maybe Thoughtseize will come in here. Bowmaster, probably worst card in hand. Uro's pretty solid. It's either Uro or Bowmaster. Probably taking Uro, I would imagine. Oh, Bowmaster. Okay, maybe they are looking to draw cards at times. Bobble would make sense. We could, in theory, stop that, but... Oh, they knew this card. I was like, how do they know this card? Like, what do they do? What are we fetching here? We'll just do this. We'll be able to split up our mana with this Uro here. We'll just fetch this now just to kind of like pass that priority. Green, white. Yeah, we need the white source. Into black as well. Now we have a 1-mana leyline binding. Which, if they count, they know. But realistically, we're probably going to natural order this halfling and go get an Atraxa. So the Atraxa's based. Sure. Sure. Village Rise? Diabolic Intent? Sure. So they're gonna go get an Underworld Breach. Hey, there's one right in there. Not having a Bajuka Bog in the deck does suck. That's sure. Yeah, that'll do it. Here. This in. Atraxa. Mamma Mia. Oko. Natural order. World tree. A creature's probably just supposed to be like Elish Norn. Turn. The only real problem is they have so many cards in their graveyard already. Obviously they have the Underworld Breach. It's gonna be so hard to like throw up this leyline binding to get this Underworld Breach off the back here. Sure. But if their first spell is Dark Ritual, it actually works. Because they won't be able to cast another spell. They already made the land. Yeah, so as you see, we'll go in a stack. Just slam the Leyline Binding, taking their Underworld Breach. So now their turn's over because they're going to make this 3 black mana. Now, obviously, if they have a way to blow up its Leyline Binding, so be it. But I'm not sold that they do. And this Dragon Rage Chandler also has to attack, which means it has to attack into my Atraxa here. Sure, it Thoughtseize me. I mean, Alice Norn doesn't really stop you at all, but maybe you think it does. Who knows? Sure, go to combat. I will gain 7. Making Tendrils much harder to perform. I'll tell you that much. I'll move to combat. We'll attack. We'll play Wooden. We'll play Oko. We will plus make a food. I don't know why I didn't play a World Tree. Probably because I'm stupid. But that's fine. Who cares? I'm allowed to be dumb. Got blue, blue, green, and green for Uro at some point. Phyluris. And that's also a problem. But you have to figure it out right now because I have an Atraxa for lethal. You had just another Underworld Breach. You're so good at the game. Holy cow. Well, you got to figure it out, opponent. You don't have another red. So you're not going to be able to play Dragon Rage Chandlers. I don't know. Maybe they can figure it out. I'm not sure. They already played a land for turn as well. You don't know what they're doing. They're going to storm, and then they're going to try to cast Tendrils of Agony. Stitcher, going to mill 3. The only problem is, without the red and the Dragon Rage Chandler kind of helping, I'm not sure how they'll get enough cards in total. They do have a Stitcher cycle kind of happening. There's a Bolt that can't really do anything. Deathrite Shaman can't really do anything right now. Did they update the timer? I feel like that's very fast. I feel like it's very quick. I don't know how many times they can get this up to, but it only has to be 10 on Storm to get it to work kind of properly. Okay. You're just trying to mill and cast spells at the same time. Stitchers basically replace themselves. I think they've cast 5 spells? Sure. Get your tendrils. You can get 29. Instead of 10, they have to get to 15. Which is definitely tough because they're milling a lot of cards. But they can also double tendrils me, I guess, technically. Now they don't have a way to really sack us. They could, I guess. I don't know. I'm not playing the Storm deck, so personally, I don't really care. I can go get a Dark Ritual put in hand, but I think, is that all copies? That's all copies, because they technically could have put another Dark Ritual in hand, cast it from hand, cast one from exile, and then cast Tendrils, and then cast it again, maybe? If they can make enough mana to do so. It's just not easy. But now they also have to keep enough cards in their yard for when they do Tendrils me. It'll be enough, but I don't know what the storm count is, because there's not like a marker that tells us what the storm count is. 11. So I'm going to take 22. It's just not enough. Wow. Okay, team. I will be 100% honest. Just like we hop into this immediately. This is supposed to be 3. And these are not to be in the deck at all. I definitely could have probably put One Rings in over this, but I love this card so much. Like me personally, it's one of my favorite cards. I love creatures with flash in general. That's why Ice Fang Quaddle is one of my favorite cards of all time, because it's the flash draw card, like block with Death Touch. It's so sick. But it's supposed to be 3 Okos. These are supposed to be dropped. I got the list. I don't know if he got it from somewhere else or whatnot, but my good friend YungDingo, or boys, you know. But I saw him tweet this list out in general. So if you really want to watch somebody play it, I can put a link to his channel. Maybe he's uploaded it on YouTube, but I'll link his Twitch and his YouTube down below just in case. He's on a subathon right now on Twitch, so if you definitely want to check that out. Really, really fun guy to be around. Really good channel in general. But yeah, so we played this list. I've been playing the mono green one. I put this deck list together, and I really wanted that many rares off. I had to craft the swords. I think I had to craft like 3 swords, and because for whatever reason, Delighted Halfling counts with the standard rare packs that you get, because why Lord of the Rings set count? Don't know. But I actually had some of these already, so that was kind of cool. I didn't really have to craft these. The only really thing is I didn't have the mythics for Oko, but this card's goated. I love this guy. This card's so sick. I love Minskin Bill. Just for the fact I get to chuck a hamster at somebody. Who doesn't want to chuck a hamster at someone? Like, come on now. But like the rest of the deck, because the other decks I've played, I had most of this deck list, so it was fine to do. The only other thing I really had to do was craft a couple of fetch lands. So for entry level into the format, this deck's not that bad, because every kind of rare / mythic that you'll craft in this deck, you will pretty much use in every other deck. You will use Lightning Bolt probably for the entire time it's in this format if you play red. You're probably playing 4 of these. I know it's like in Japanese, but this is Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt deals 3 damage to any target. You'll probably be playing this for as long as it's legal if you're playing white or red. You'll probably be playing Swords of Plowshare if you're playing white in pretty much any deck in this format. If you're playing green, you're probably playing Delighted Halflings at some point, along with Deathrite Shaman. These 2 are the best mana creatures that we currently have. Making your legendaries uncounterable is huge. And then Deathrite Shaman works well if your opponent's playing fetches or you use your own. Also, it can definitely drain your opponent out of the game by exiling instants and sorceries from their yard. And then exile a creature as well. So if your opponent plays like an Uro or something, you can exile their creature. And it's just how it is. Outside of that, Orcish Bowmaster, not in this deck list, but if you're playing black, most of the time you're going to be playing about 4 copies of these. So this is like not a bad card to copy and craft. Uro, If you okay, let me explain something real quick. If you wonder if you should craft these cards, let's look. Not legal in these formats. Not legal in these formats. Nothing, because it's still good. Nothing. Nothing. Not legal in all those formats. Pretty good card. Not legal in all those formats. Pretty good card. Like, not legal in those formats. This is like fine. So all these cards are just not legal in places for reasons. So they're all reasonably craftable. The ones that you can kind of argue if you're looking to just play this format that you don't really need to craft is probably this card. Realistically, this Elishnorn. Let me move it over so it kind of shows up on screen. It's about the only card realistically you don't have to craft that is a mythic or a rare. You can definitely fulfill a different spot in this deck. It just works so well when you're doubling Uro triggers, you're doubling like the Omnath ETBs, the Atraxa ETBs, the Primetime ETBs, Leyline Binding, your Field of the Deads, things like that. The other thing is Field of the Dead is definitely worth crafting if you're playing any slow late game deck. I mean, it's just not legal in half the formats that are on this client for a reason. It's also not legal in Modern for a reason. So at the end of the day, most cards in this list are worth crafting if you are playing this format. Therefore, this deck just becomes kind of easy to build because if you play any amount of standard or have played standard in the past, if you played since like maybe Ravnica and stuff, you probably have the mana base outside these fetch lands because you probably have every Triumph if you've been playing standard. You probably have one of every shock land if you've been playing. You probably have a Boseiju. Obviously, you have basics. This is a rare. You probably won't have this, but like, it's so good. You saw us win a game because we gave the Atraxa haste. There's just a lot in the deck. And of course, you know, we're playing best of one, so there's no sideboard, so you can get away with it. Outside of that, I do hope you all enjoyed. There's a lot to go over with this deck list. Hopefully, I left enough games out there that kind of show you. I know I didn't necessarily play the best, but trying to commentate, play a new format, a new deck list you haven't played, and trying to figure out what your opponent's doing because you have no idea what the format entails, definitely kind of like overloading my brain a little bit. So I will admit that I didn't play as tight as I should have in a lot of spots, but that's kind of the hard part when you don't really get the focus. You kind of have to talk about what you're doing. I know I'm rambling here as well, so I'm going to let y'all go. I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, or wherever you're watching from. Please, just have a wonderful day. I hope you all have a good time, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.